All right, Lindsey, what's in your lens today?
Yeah, so the White House is facing a new cascade of criticism with regional Fed officials now pushing back on the criminal inquiry into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The Federal Reserve is supposed to operate independently, insulated from political pressure, so it can make tough, often unpopular decisions to keep inflation in check. That independence is now being tested in a really public way. Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee didn't mince words when he told NPR yesterday, quote, "I consider Chair Powell to be a first ballot Hall of Fame Fed chair. If we're going to get into a circumstance where the independence or even the integrity of Chair Powell is in question, we're in a bad spot." That's not partisan rhetoric. That's an economic warning. This comes as the Justice Department investigates Powell's congressional testimony related to the Fed's costly headquarters renovation, a probe many economists, CEOs, and even Republican lawmakers see as political pressure disguised as oversight. Now, Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari has said the escalation of the attacks is really about monetary policy, not construction costs. And New York Fed President John Williams emphasized that Powell is a, quote, man of impeccable integrity, warning that interference could lead to higher inflation. Now, at the same time, President Trump is openly frustrated that interest rates are not being cut fast enough. Instead of waiting on the Fed, he's trying to find ways around it. In recent days, Trump ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities, a move designed to push mortgage rates down. Axios reports it worked, at least temporarily, sending rates below 6% for the first time since 2023. He's also calling for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%, though it's unclear whether banks would comply without official legislation. Now, on the surface, cheaper borrowing sounds really great. Who wouldn't want lower mortgage payments or less credit card interest? But economics is rarely that simple. Artificially lowering rates without addressing supply, especially in housing, can backfire. We've seen this before. In 2021, low rates helped fuel bidding wars. I was part of one of them. Drove home prices higher and higher and left affordability worse, not better. What we're watching right now is a tug of war between short-term political wins to help Republicans in the midterms and long-term economic stability. Undercutting the Fed may feel like relief in the moment, but history shows it can lead to higher inflation, market instability, and deeper pain for us all down the road. Bottom line, when leaders start pressuring the referee instead of respecting the rules of the game, the entire system gets riskier, and everyday Americans are usually the ones that pay the price.
Incredible. I agree completely.
Incredible? Oh,
No, I have not a single word of criticism.
I
Totally agree.
I think this is significant.
Low interest rates cause boom and bust cycles. That's part of Austrian economics. The manipulation, devaluation of our currency is all downstream of that. Encouraging the government, encouraging reckless borrowing is the cause of great economic instability, great panics in the market that have arisen historically. That's absolutely true. And if for political reasons they lower interest rates to appease the president, there's going to be no end to that. Future Democrats could do the same thing. That's bad. We do not want that.
And if we just look at the wave from 2021, it seemed like if you were lucky enough to be working and not, gravely or deeply affected by the pandemic, there were a lot of people that had the money at the time to try to buy properties, and there were low interest rates. I mean, ours was like in the 3%, which is unseen. I mean, I talk to people that are 80 years old that are like, that's crazy. My whole lifetime, I haven't seen that. But when you see that bubble and the pricing that I was talking about burst, now we're in a situation 5 years later where people have felt like the economy has been absolute garbage for the last 3 years or more. And I think if we play with that too much and we go into the midterms and people feel like there's some relief that the president has promised, then they have 3 years past that when there's a new president and another failing economy. I think people want to look for long-term stability in our economy and figure that out. And when you have the Fed chairs that are, like you said, nothing might be independent in your eyes fully, but they've always operated in a space where if they made an uncomfortable decision, they didn't feel like they were going to be berated or lose their job at any point. They just had had to make the calls. They were autonomous. So even if they had a political affiliation or more of a friend on one side, they still made autonomous decisions based on numbers and the economy. And I think when you see all these different Fed leaders that are from all over the country speaking out in unison, putting out a public statement, every single living Fed chair that's had Jerome Powell's job signed a statement and put it out to say this is wrong. And I'm sure they served and have different political affiliations. I think the president has to wake up and say, what policies can I look at outside of harassing the Fed and outside of policies that most of my party doesn't agree with to try to make it more affordable in the U.S. And maybe the first place to start, and I know I can just tee you up for this one, is the tariffs. Maybe that could be the first place to start, because I think that there are other things that he can be looking at, or just not pay so much attention to every other thing on his list to do, like pursuing Dr. Fauci. It's time to really focus on, and I know he's not doing that,
now
but you
you're
want him
looking
to.
for a fight.
No, he wants to. I'm saying
Dr. Fauci.
he shouldn't do that. And people are tweeting me. I told you I'm never on Twitter. I don't.
Economy.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. He should not waste the time.
Well, because the economy was great until COVID destroyed it.
And that was Dr. Fauci's fault.
It was created in a lab by
I wanted to make sure I
science
heard
and
you
research
correctly.
funded by Dr. Fauci. So that's why it's important that we don't do that again. But
So him being in jail will fix the economy mostly for us?
we'll send a message to future Dr. Frankensteins not to do this reckless experimentation on live viruses that kills millions of people. I think that's important, but that's just me. Having a good economy is not rocket science. It's very easy. First of all, lower taxes. Get rid of every regulation you possibly can. Don't do tariffs at all. And cut government spending. Fire government employees. Get rid of red tape so we can have as much housing as possible. We want to make it as easy to start a business and employ people, even if they're immigrants. You've got to have policies for high-skilled immigrants to come in. Do all of that. The economy will hum and buzz like a beautiful mechanical butterfly. I don't know. Bull. I was like doing a bee, like a bumblebee.
Okay, I think you sound like Elon Musk.
Am I high today?
I hope not. You sound like Elon Musk, who had all these pipe dreams about what he could do if he comes in with a businessman mindset for our government structure and our economy. And as you saw, and we all saw, he's still a great businessman, but he left the government with his tail tucked a bit. A lot of people that he fired got rehired. A lot of the billions that he mentioned to cut, people have refuted those claims in a variety of ways, saying it's like a fraction of what he actually says he cut. So the ideas are very pie in the sky, but like, what's the realistic way? You're like, just get rid of this, fire all government employees. Okay, well, Elon Musk tried that. It was a fail. So what else then?
It's not like Sauron or Voldemort. You think it's dead, but it exists still in its spectral, smoky form and can never properly be totally destroyed. It resurfaces government employment.
And so you just think we should have nothing, just Supreme Court and the president and call it a, because you already hate Congress. Now you hate...
Fire a lot of government employees.
Have like 5 people
End a lot
left.
of benefits, privatize Social Security, cut Medicare, Medicaid. We got to do all that.
Okay, our system is going to run ragged with no type of health coverage.
Everyone's
Everyone's still going to go. I mean,
said.
Well, there's people that still have no money that are going to go to the hospital still, and who's paying for all that stuff?
People with no money, we need a little
They're out
bit
of
welfare
jobs.
state for them, but people with tons of money, maybe they can pay for it themselves, is what I would say. Next up, a Washington Post reporter had her home searched by the FBI on Wednesday as part of a classified information probe. Stay with us to discuss.